Hello everyone. This is the video for July 13th. So we're still on the Salt Flats in this one. So we just spent the night at the Salt Hotel. And we woke up fairly bright and early because we had a long drive ahead of us if we were going to get down to kind of the southern tip of the Salt Flats. So kicked off really early.
They said about a 12-hour drive.
Yeah.
So we had to start. We're up at 6 a.m. Breakfast on the road by 7.
Yeah.
Bolivian time.
So 7:30-ish. We got back in the car with our guide, who, I mean, he didn't speak a whole lot of English. Like, guide maybe isn't the right word. He's more of a driver, I guess.
And mechanic.
Yeah. The mechanic part will come up later. But so we headed off, and basically the goal of today was to see like lagoons and was that the day we also saw those llamas?
Yes.
Yeah. So we headed off, found this, I guess, what do they call it, the Stinky Lagoon?
Yeah, it smelled like sulfur.
Yeah, it's
It wasn't that bad.
I've smelled worse. Anyway, and there's just this incredible number of flamingos that live in this lagoon. And apparently
It was frigid up there. There was ice still in the lake.
yeah. So we have pictures of like flamingos, pink flamingos, walking on ice, and
Bizarre. I didn't think flamingos could live in that cold.
No,
I always imagined them as
crazy.
like tropical birds.
yeah. So we kind of hung around there for a bit, and had lunch at the Stinky Lagoon, and then by now we're kind of out of the salt and into more of like a silt and kind of like volcanic and dirt again.
So this is very washboardy. None of the roads actually existed. We were driving on dirt, like back roads.
And all these roads, there's like 8 different ways to get to the same place, and the drivers just kind of pick one, whichever one they think is hopefully the least bumpy. And yeah, like there's just rocks and junk everywhere. And we said the mechanic part would come back up again. The 13th was the day of breakdowns. Our vehicle acquired a rock, probably about maybe that big, in between the wheel and the axle, and so we had to stop for about 45 minutes.
They had to take off the tire.
Yeah.
Remove this rock.
And he just tosses this thing away. I went over and I took a quick picture of it because I was amazed at how big it was. But yeah, so we got our tire back on, got it all fixed. And then not too long after that,
A half hour later.
yeah, another one of our 4x4s broke down.
So we stopped.
Yeah.
See what we could do to help them out.
We're the backup vehicle. But where this one broke down, there was some snow and some ice. So I mean, there's a little bit of a snowball fight. Actually, the cook threw a snowball at the mechanic who was trying to fix the truck, and I think kind of pissed him off. But I took the high road. I just built a little snowman, and I put him up on some of the dirt and took some photos with this little snow dude. Unfortunately, he ended up falling into a tire tread and probably no longer exists. So.
But yeah, they got that vehicle fixed up. Apparently they
we had a
got
fuel
a
line.
hole in the fuel line.
So they rebuilt the fuel line. These guys carry like everything they need to fix these vehicles. So it's definitely kind of an experience to have things breaking down all the time.
Yeah, so it put us back a few hours.
Yeah, so we ended up going from there down to, I guess, kind of like a national park office.
Yeah.
Near, I think it was called, was that at the Red Lagoon?
Yes.
Yeah, so we went down to the Red Lagoon, which is where the algae that these flamingos eat live, so they're actually pink. And we get there, and we got our passports stamped with these little flamingo.
And the date and stuff, like
yeah,
the legit passport stamp. It was kind of neat.
Yeah, it was cool. And so where we actually ended up staying wasn't all that far from there, so we got to our hotel, might be a bit of a generous term.
They said it was going to be rough.
Shack?
I was thinking...
Field shack?
Yeah, it was like a concrete shack with some like plastic on top.
And
it's better than I thought it would be.
Yeah. But it was a cold night. It probably got down to about -20, -25.
Yeah.
And this building didn't hold heat very well. So it shed all the heat. Luckily we had sleeping bags, and we had each other, and we could cuddle together for warmth and laugh at those poor single fools freezing to death in their beds. Yeah, it was a cold night. We kind of went to bed really early because everyone was just sitting there shivering. So, had supper, went to sleep, and
that was that day.
We survived the -20 weather. You know, good old Canadian blood. It was a long cold night. Made it through, and then we headed off again in the morning, which we'll shoot right away here. See you soon.